Hello and welcome to Pod Popper's Place. I am Penny, and today I'm going to be working with Kendra's Card Challenge number 14 and the card making kit sampler that is sent out each month to Kendra's Patreon at the all access level. This month I received a lot of pieces to make some cards for graduation. I love the black and gold color. It came with several pieces of nice thick cardstock type ephemera, as well as some embellishments. The papers are all double-sided, so it gives me lots of options to work with. For my first card, I decided to use card sketch number 4. This is a great one for utilizing all the different patterns of paper that came in the kit. And because I'm not cutting straight from 6x6 paper, I just needed to go to the design sheets to see which sizes I need to cut for the design. Because Kendra's design sheets give you all of the information you need to cut the correct size paper, there's no guesswork involved, and it's just simply cutting and then placing your pieces into the right position. I always like to do a dry run when I'm getting my card ready before I glue anything down. That way I make sure that all of my pieces fit the way they are supposed to. This also gives me an opportunity to see all of the patterns together and flip the paper over if it's double-sided to give me some other options. With the last thin strip that goes sideways, there is supposed to be a layer underneath, but I kind of missed that when I was putting things together, and I think with the black background it won't be missed for this particular card. When putting Kendra's sketches together, sometimes order really does matter, and I think this is one of those cards that it's important that you get that first triangle laid out first before you do anything else, and that way everything else kind of falls into place. I did use a ruler just so that I could make sure everything was lined up with each other straight, so that the last strip is nice and straight as it goes down as well. Once everything is lined up and in place and glued down, I'm just going to trim around the outside edge. I don't normally keep like all these little scraps, but because this is the mystery card kit and I only have so much of each paper, I decided to hang on to some of the bigger pieces to see if they could be utilized on an extra card. This particular sketch has a nice wide open space with nothing there, so it gives you a lot of options to fill it with. I popped up the You Did It tassel ephemera on some foam tape and placed that there in that space with a few of the gold embellishments that were included, and this card is finished. For my next card, I had to look at what size pieces I had left, and I decided to use some of them for card sketch number 13. This is a fairly simple sketch, and I was able to use some of the smaller pieces that I had left from the kit. To complete this card, I used some gold holographic paper from my scrap pile and a piece of gold shimmer background paper for the card base. One trick I've learned when using metallic paper cardstock is to use double-sided adhesive tape rather than glue. The gold metallics do seem to show through with the glue and it makes it look messy. With the gold shimmer holographic paper, I did use glue, but then I knew I was covering it up with cardstock so that it wouldn't be seen anyway. I left the first banner the original cut size, and I probably could have trimmed that down a little bit, but the third one I did trim down quite a bit so that it wasn't the same length as the second one. I love that this ephemera piece was perfect for the sentiment on this card sketch, and I did pop that one up on foam tape as well, and then this card is done also. For my third card, I had this square piece left, and it was about the perfect size for card sketch number 14. This sketch calls for a shaker window with a circle cut out in the center of the square. I also had a large enough scrap to make the banner on the side, and I also had pieces to glue the optional little strips on the inside of the shaker window. Even the cellophane baggie that the mystery card kit sampler came in got a roll in this card. I cut the baggie in half and utilized the side that didn't have Kendra's QR code on it. I used double-sided tape to put the cellophane piece on and then trimmed the excess off. Once I had that in place, I added the optional pieces of cardstock in the corners of the shaker window. After getting my first piece laid down, I realized that I was looking at the card sketch and putting these on actually backwards. So my optional pieces are on the opposite side of what the card sketch calls for, but who would know? Except for you and me, of course. Once I have all my pieces put together, I do a dry run just to make sure everything is going to fit as it should before I add my shaker bits to the window. I add some foam tape, some black and gold sequins, and then some additional scrap cellophane to the back to complete my shaker window. Because cellophane and liquid glue don't always go well together, I use double-sided adhesive tape and then a little bit of liquid glue on top, just so I have that room to wiggle it around in case I don't get it laid down properly the first time. Once I had all of my pieces down in place, it was time to decide how to decorate this. The ephemera piece that I had left was kind of big and covered up too much of my window, so I decided to get some of my older pieces from my stash out. I used a congrats die for the word sentiment, and then I also used this cap and gown type die from Spellbinders that makes this cute little 3D graduation cap. This cap was the perfect size to go on the card while still making it clear what kind of card it was. I still had some scraps left, and so I made another card. It wasn't from Kendra's Card Sketches, but watch till the very end to see the final card I made. 4 card sketches made out of 1 card sampler kit. What a great deal. Please check out Kendra's Card Challenges and become a Patreon at the link below.